interesting.
Right? Wasn't it? Okay. So here
Too
we are
many
again.
surprises!
I know. I like to keep you on your toes.
I don't do well at my toes.
Bam. So
can't
here we
plant
are
my
again with another episode of Straight Talk Right Away.
I hate you.
I don't tell her that I start. I just randomly start up the program and start recording.
You're a terrible person.
So anyway, today we are going to talk about dating and some of that stuff.
I can't with you.
So who would like to start off? Oh, by the way, this is Straight Talk with Prose and Conman 21.
I can't. Stop.
We're so bad at intros. That's okay.
I would be a lot better at it if you let me know when we're starting.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's not fine. You just like, we're having a conversation.
So it's like,
middle
by
of
the
it.
way, we've started recording.
In the middle of it, he's like, and so, folks. I'm like, what are you? Oh, good Jesus.
Yes,
Holy.
Jesus is good.
And I'm like really lightheaded now because I couldn't breathe. All right.
And so, yeah, like I said, today we're talking about dating.
No.
You came prepared for this.
I did, but you did.
So you can't say that you're unprepared.
I am unprepared because you didn't let me know we were starting. Okay, guys, I am gonna
And gals.
settle down. I need to stop using guys as a gender neutral term. It's not really gender neutral.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
But I say it all the time. And dude, too. I'm a dude. You're a dude. She's a dude. We're
Because
all
we're all
dudes.
dudes.
Like, come on.
No, even when I'm talking to like just all females, I'll be like, "Hey guys."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, why?
Yeah. And I don't want to do that. Like, if I have... I have friends. I have friends. I have trans friends. And I don't want to be like, what's up, dude? Like, you know?
Yeah. No.
But I
hear
say
that.
dude to everyone. Anyway.
Well, anyway, so in school, in regards to this, like
Yes.
I was taught that if there's at least one guy in the group,
Yes.
you refer to everyone as guys. And it's like, why? Why does that one man get significance over all these women?
That is very true.
So that's why we say, "Hey, y'all."
Yeah, I've definitely resorted to saying y'all now because I'm always like, dudes. Anyway.
Or I just try to take out like the pronoun
Right.
completely. I'm like, "Hey."
All right, so we're supposed to be talking... You're just messing me up. We're supposed to be talking about relationships or dating, right?
What? Why not? We can do both of them.
You're such a
Well,
weirdo.
speaking of dating, we
Yeah.
have dated.
Oh, this is a fun fact, guys.
Yeah, fun fact.
We did for like 4 months, and most of that time
You were in Japan.
I was living out of the country. So that's
it was
how that
easier
worked.
that way.
That's how it worked out really well for us. Okay, so I will comment on this because previous to this, we were kind of in this like friend triad. And so
We need to.
Coleman and I
Yeah.
were very close, just friends, because we were always hanging out. And so, as you know, if you've listened to the podcast somewhat consistently or caught the one where I was talking about my life or why I'm not all the way out, I tend to have short crushes on all of my closest friends because a big thing that is important to me in relationships and building relationships is having those connections. And so I start crushing on the connection and not necessarily on the gender. When we get really close, I'm all like, oh, cool, fun, like whatever. And so that's why it was kind of okay for me to be sort of dating. But I never, you can talk about your side too, but there was never like a romantic feeling between us. Actually, after we started like dating, it was like more awkward.
Yeah.
Like we were more touchy, more friendly, more playful, and then it was a little bit more awkward but it was cute. We were freaking cute as a couple. We were a cute ass couple. But it was never like steamy romance.
No,
kind of feeling.
I agree with that.
But it was like adorable because like I cared about you and I still care about you. I love you. So it was kind of like a cute like, oh, this is my person, and almost like for me it was almost like something that you would the same kind of like puppy love feelings that you would feel in like middle school. It was like a middle school dating situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like the first serious girl I ever dated.
Aw.
And if you can call that serious.
Sure.
Because, like you said, we were apart for like 3 months of it.
But I very much still value all that time that we spent together, and I don't regret it, I guess.
What's there to regret?
Yeah.
Do you remember the breakup?
I do remember.
I was such a mess. I was such a mess.
It's very vivid in my mind. You were waiting on my stairs. I was coming home, and you're like sitting on my stairs, and I'm like, this is different.
I'm such an emotional person, and the idea of, like, it wasn't a terrible thing to do, but, like, I guess in my head, breaking up with someone, like, if you were the one breaking up with the person, like, you were the bad person. And so it made me feel all these things, and I was crying for no reason. Everything got to me.
Yeah. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
And I remember, like, thinking, like, okay, what's happening? Like, okay, here comes my boyfriend, and I'm happy to see him. And he's not happy, and so let's talk about this. And you were just, I don't remember what you said.
I don't even remember what led up to it either. Like,
I think you were figuring out my
sexuality.
I mean, it's not something that you talked to me about when you were breaking up with me.
Yeah, see, because
when you were crushing my dreams
whatever.
of marrying you. So that's not what you talked about. I think you just said some generic things like it's not working out, or...
Yeah, it's not you, it's me.
No.
No, I didn't say that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. I don't think I've ever used that.
No. And for whatever it was, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like,
but we can still be friends.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't even know if that was even said.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I
think it was kind of like a given.
Obviously, because we were really close friends for a while before that. Yeah, and I remember just being like, okay, cool. And I remember going inside. I was still living with my dad at the time, and he was all like, oh, what's he doing here? I was like, oh, yeah, we're not dating anymore. He's like, oh, really? Wasn't? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And the thing is, I remember, like, being really fine, like, okay, yeah, so we're not dating. But then afterwards, I think I remember being, like, kind of sad, like, oh.
It took a while to hit you.
It did.
Yeah.
It took a while to kind of hit me.
I think I can't even remember how I felt like right after it. Like, I think because I was still recovering from whatever the hell happened to me, and I don't think it was as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like, from my end, because
it probably helps that I didn't overreact or something too.
You were really understanding about it, which made me feel even worse.
But I should have kind of saw it coming.
Because you were like so nice about it. It's like, why am I hurting this person? At least I thought I was,
Sure.
Yeah. Wow, we've never talked about that.
No, we haven't. That's really weird.
Ever.
That was a long time ago. This was like 2005 or something, folks. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been like 2005.
That's when I was in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
This is so weird. Hey, you guys have just witnessed a conversation about... Wow. I guess that was just kind of a thing that happened and we just never talked about it.
Yeah, well, like, it didn't really need to be talked about.
That's true. Because we still were, everything was kind of normal.
Yeah.
I had to, like, change my brain a little bit because just I was used to, like, this is my person.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
But we were still, I don't know.
We still hung out a lot.
We did. But yeah, we were pretty much joined at the hip. So yeah, that's a little tidbit of our life. So that's dating.
That is dating.
And current dating for me now is really complicated because I don't know how to do it. Do you know how to do it?
Kind of.
Okay.
Like, I never really dated, like, aside from you, but like we said, you were half a world away for a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But
you were still a good boyfriend when I was gone.
Well, yeah, we talked a lot.
Talked a lot, and I guess Skype. we're just friends overseas. But yeah, a couple mushy feelings. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and so the dating scene. God, I haven't really gone on many dates. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was when I was with my serious relationship. Like, the whole process, he would come and visit, and then we'd go out and do stuff. Mm-hmm. But it didn't take us long to be like, oh, well, we're like officially dating, like in a relationship. So there wasn't really much of a, I guess, courtship and trying to feel the other person out. And I feel like maybe I should have done that a little more, but it was my first serious relationship, so everything gets a little cloudy and that kind of thing. I have gone on a couple dates recently, and that's been a little nicer. It's been a little more relaxed. It helps that we've talked via texting before we actually met up the first time. When I got into that serious relationship, it didn't... I had met him online like years before, and then we just kind of fell out of contact for whatever reason, like
Sure.
stopped using the same service or whatever. And then it just so happened that somebody here in town knew him, and it's like, oh, I should have you meet my friend.
Sure.
And it turns out that he was that friend, and it was kind of weird because we had talked in the previous like few years. I think we got serious too fast, and then shit hit the fan, and shit kept hitting the fan.
Ugh.
And I kept
Trying to dodge the shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Flying everywhere.
Yeah, and tried to make it work, and I think I tried a lot longer than I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Only talked to a few people about the shit that happened, and it's not something that I ever want to discuss on my personal YouTube channel. As weird as it sounds, like, I still think that he tries to keep tabs on me.
Oh, wow.
Because for a while there, he was messaging me on other things, and I would just instantly block him.
Sure.
Like, I was like, no, I need to cut you out of my life. You're not good for me. You're not a positive influence on my life either.
Sure.
And he's the opposite kind of person where he likes to try and be friends with his exes, almost to the point where he's almost always talking about an ex.
Oh.
It's like, oh, well, I was talking to this person, my ex, and that got a little overbearing at times too. And he would repeat stories.
Oh, yeah.
So that caused a couple of fights because I was like, oh, well, I've heard this before, so I just kind of tune out a little bit. And yeah. Anyway, that was that. I mean, looking back, I should have left that shit.
It's hard, though, because, you want to... I think there's a basic human need of wanting to be connected to someone, wanting affection, wanting someone to show affection to be appreciated by. And so I think we've all been in relationships where it's just not working out, but there's still something that we feel like we need that this person is providing for us, so we hold on for longer than we should.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I tried being friends with him, and, like, when we talk about how bad things got between us, like, he would say, like, oh, we were toxic together. But looking back, and I agreed with him, like, when he said it. I'm like, yeah, because things got bad. But looking back, I think he was just a toxic person. But he couldn't accept the blame.
Sure.
And I was reading this thing that toxic people tend to, like, want to control you.
Yeah.
And then when they can't anymore, they'll try to change how people see you. And he would do that a lot. There was a lot of the whole, like, whenever we got into fights, the first thing he would do was take to Facebook to post about it.
Oh, I hate when people do that.
Yeah, he was...
My life.
Like, he needed somebody to back him up, like, instantly, if I wasn't that person backing him up with whatever. And that got irritating. Even if people, like... I know some of my friends, like, made catty remarks to him on Facebook, but he wanted it to... Like, he wanted me to handle it, like, in public view of everyone.
Sure.
And that's not the kind of person I am. And so that caused problems, too, and... Yeah, it just got really, really bad. And then, finally... we broke up, and like I said, we tried being friends, but because he wasn't around, he wasn't in the same area, like, it got easier to see how just we weren't compatible. Like, one of the last few times he had called me, he was being, I don't even know, he was being super immature, and the whole time I just like, yeah, we said our goodbyes, but I was like, that was really, like, he was just immature. Like, I couldn't even really, like, process how immature, like, his whole conversation had been.
Sure.
And, yeah, I was like, yeah, I just need to stop talking to him. And then we stopped talking for, like, 4 months. And then he just happened to message me on the day I graduated. And I'm like, I made the decision to not talk to him. And when I didn't respond, he got aggressive in his texts, and I just told him that I was cutting him out. I sent him 3 messages just explaining my side, and then he had 10 plus messages to send me, and I was like, whoa, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
And it was after that he kept trying to, like, reach out to me on different social media, like, just everything, and I was like, just block. Like, I don't have time for this.
For sure.
I haven't heard from him in a while. I think the last time I did, he contacted me on Grindr, which I think is weird that he's on Grindr when he's married.
Oh, well, Anyway.
But apparently according to him, I had butt dialed him, and he knew it was me. And first off, his phone number, I still have it, but it's under "Don't call." That is his name. Right? Don't answer, don't call, or something like that. And I have his number blocked on my iPhone because it was when I had an iPhone that this happened, and like my call log did not show that I called. Don't answer. So he posted some kind of rant on his Twitter. He had tagged my Twitter handle. I think he realized that it wasn't me because that post got deleted. Like he was saying that he had caught me in a lie and some bullshit, and I was like,
so that's just too much drama. I can't be around people like that at all ever.
Yeah. That was my my only serious relationship. So clearly I am looking for something a little different this time around. In hindsight, though, it's helped me realize things that I don't want in a relationship. It's kind of raised my not expectations, my standards.
Yeah.
Because I think that first time around I was willing to look past all of the things that I had thought were like kind of like deal breakers. He smoked. If my friends smoke, I don't care. But I don't want to date somebody who's a smoker.
Sure.
I don't really like the smell of the cigarettes.
Yep.
And having to kiss somebody who has cigarette breath is kind of gross.
Yeah.
And like clearly I'm not gonna let myself be like bullied. And luckily we never like there wasn't like any physical violence, but like we did yell a lot.
Yeah.
After a while. And somehow like I wanted to swear some of those times. But I made the conscious decision that I'm not gonna swear at him. Despite the fact that he was swearing at me. Because I didn't want to say something that I would regret.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to escalate any more than it already had anyway. I've never really talked about that because I feel like he's going to come across it and then just use it to fuel his fire and be like, oh, this is all wrong.
Right. He looks like he's always looking for some...
Yeah, looking for a fight.
Right. Well, good. We can always make decisions to fuel and feed fire, or we can put it out. And so you did that. You put it out, and you were done with that, even though it was really difficult. Dating is hard.
And you know what? It was so weird because, like, dating is hard, but getting over people is hard too.
Yes, even if they're stupid people.
And it was weird because for a long time, like, so many things reminded me of him. It was stupid things, or like, and it's weird to say this, but like after a while I noticed that I wasn't thinking about him, like, but having the thought of, oh, I haven't thought about him in a while, it seems a little contradictive.
Sure.
But like there's just a lot of things, and I don't know why they like triggered me to think about him. I think there was just this point where I just need to acknowledge that, oh, he does kind of remind me of certain things. And I think that's always going to happen. Like, people will remind you of things, but you just shouldn't like think like, oh my god, this is terrible of myself for thinking about him.
Yes.
Like, it's just going to happen.
Well, he's a part of your life.
Yeah.
No matter, how it ended or started or what that was. But, it's always going to be, there are really terrible people that I've interacted with in the past they're part of my life. And no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to forget them as much as I would like to. Yes. I think the difficult thing for me is realizing that different people have different needs. Well, I mean, I realize that, but sometimes I feel like I'll make a connection with someone, and we'll have a personality-wise connection, and that'll be fine, and then I'll be like, oh, this is really great. But then we will have different needs. Like, I will be looking for something a little bit different than they are. And so I think that's one of the reasons why relationships can be really hard, because we're not looking for the same thing. I am very attracted to people who are smart, I guess. Have something to say. We have some interest to share. And so when I meet people like that, I kind of get excited, but they're what they need or what they're looking for or how often they want to interact is different than what I need. So that's something that I've been kind of getting adjusted to it. I'm not used to having multiple interests at one time, but I guess that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to, like, date around, and that's not something I've ever done. I have met someone, I think, hey, you're pretty neat, let's date. And
Let's
it's
date,
just me and that person checking it out to see if we want to
I think that's
continue.
a very old-fashioned value too. That
Right.
like, and of course we were brought up that way because we're like on the very cusp of like the millennial thing.
Yeah, we're at the end of it.
Yeah. Well,
The beginning of
the
it.
beginning
Yeah,
of it.
right.
So we have all these older views that helped sculpt our life, and then so it's hard to break out of them because I noticed myself having some of those traditional values
Right.
that really don't make any sense anymore.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate though because it's like we'll meet somebody that I really am interested in and I want to like develop that. Doesn't mean I want to marry them. I just want to like get to know them more or whatever.
Yep.
And so my expectations will be that, and then so when their expectations and mine are different, it's almost like heartbreaking a little bit. Like, oh yeah, you're seeing other. Okay, cool. I need to do that too, don't I? Yes.
Yeah.
This is normal apparently. And so I guess I'm doing a little bit of that. There's like 3 or 4 people
Oh, wow.
that I'm talking to right now, but it's at such an entry level place that it's like it's not anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to be friends with someone that you're like, okay, this might be a romantic interest. I don't know how to do that separation, so that's my problem.
Aside from dating that one ex,
Yeah.
like I haven't really dated guys, multiple guys, so
Yeah.
it's really weird. Like lately, like this past year, I've definitely dated a lot more. And there was those 2 guys. The one that kind of became a problem because he just hadn't figured out his life. And then there's the other one who has his life together, but he just lives a lot further away and our schedules don't work.
Yeah.
While there's the one that's close by and doesn't really have his life together. Like, there's still a draw towards him because he's closer and
Right.
our schedules are a little more compatible than the other guy who is definitely looking for something serious, who's about an hour away, but our schedules just rarely work. And so it's really hard to be like, well, I'm just going to blow you off completely because
you're available.
But you're available. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the attention.
It is, and it's important, but it's also
But then also at the same time, it's like, well, just because this person's like this now doesn't mean they're always going to be like this. Even though I try to be a realist, like there's still a part of me that's like this hopeful romantic.
Yes.
And it's really hard to break out of that because, I'm trying to find the good in this person and in the situation. And so sure, Higgy's not like on the up and up right now, but that doesn't, like I said, like he could get there. Like he's just in a different point in his life right now than I am. It's hard to turn away people when you don't get a lot of attention too.
Yes.
Because I think that influences who I hang out with.
Hugely. Because it's already difficult for us as queers living in Midwesteros.
Yep.
There's not a lot of options. There's like no options, and then so when someone's interested in you, you're like, oh yes, gotta take what I gotta get. But also, that's why sometimes people end up in those toxic relationships. So it's just like your brain knows these things, but also there are needs that we have, and I'm not even talking about like sexual needs, but that's the thing. But like, interaction and connection, and all of that stuff I talked about before. It's just a big cluster.
Yes, I completely agree.
It's hard, and to shuffle schedules and stuff like that. That's my problem that I'm running into. Like I'm talking to 3 people. It was 4, but the 4 I just kind of let the 4th one go. She just anyway.
It was time.
Huh?
It was time.
Yeah, it was time. She was my first, like, kind of my first fake girlfriend, and anyway.
Ooh.
I don't regret it. But anyway, so anyway, but it's hard because the time schedule thing. Like there are people I'm interested in, but like one of them is a very similar place as me, but she lives, in the next town over, I'll say. And she's in grad school and she's busy, and okay, so I don't get to talk to her. Another one actually lives in the same town that I live in, but she's also busy. It's like people are just so busy. That's all right. I'm busy too.
Yeah, and it doesn't help, at least in our area, that like, especially like in like our city, there is no like LGBTQ friendly place to just hang out.
There's nothing.
We have to go to a different city before we like have that, and so that makes it harder too, because it's like no, like I feel like everyone here is still like in the closet.
Yes, because they're here,
and so they're kind of like, and because this town doesn't have like any kind of space like that, I think there's just this fear of being seen in public with someone who is a potential interest.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely noticed more of an openness on the campus.
Right.
But that's because it's on campus.
Right.
But like outside of that, no, I don't see it anywhere.
Right.
Not really.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe sometime down the line we'll be able to help foster a space or something.
Right. That
for
would be so great.
Queer friends. Yeah.
So that's our experiences with dating and our views on some of the dating stuff. And that's it, I guess. So, bye.
Bye.